12 houses, all in Georgia, all under $70,000, and at least one of them will cost you a whole lot more than the asking price if you do not read the fine print. House number 12, Atlanta, Georgia, $69,000. 140 Mount Zion Road, SE, number 41. 2-bed, 1-bath, 800 square feet, built 1972. Annual carrying charge, $8,760. That's about $730 per month. Fulton County median household income, $95,292. We are starting in Atlanta, under $70,000 in Atlanta. Before you say a word, yes, that is a real number, and yes, it is a real address. But here is what the headline does not tell you. This is not a house. It's a unit inside a gated cooperative. And co-ops work differently than standard ownership. You aren't just buying a property, you're buying into a shared structure with shared rules and a shared bill that shows up every single month whether you like it or not. That bill is $730 every month on top of whatever you paid to get in. Now, in fairness, that carrying charge covers a lot. HVAC maintenance, hot water heater, roof and exterior upkeep, taxes, insurance, water, trash, sewage. The listing is actually pretty transparent about what you're getting for that money. And in a city where the Fulton County median household income sits at over $95,000, the location argument is real. You are minutes from the airport. You are close to downtown. But let us do the math out loud. $730 a month is $8,760 a year. Over 5 years, that's $43,800 in carrying charges on a $69,000 purchase. The number on the listing is not the number you're actually paying. Cash or private financing only. No Zestimate, no traditional mortgage path. If you understand what a co-op is and the location is what you're actually buying, this could make sense for the right person. But if you clicked because Atlanta under 70 grand sounded like a steal, now you know why. House number 11, Hartwell, Georgia, $69,999. 125 Rose Street, 2-bed, 1-bath, 768 square feet, built 1959. Lot 2.2 acres, Hart County median household income, $59,385. Poverty rate, 13.7%. After Atlanta, this one feels almost refreshingly normal. Small town, small house, 768 square feet on about 1/5 of an acre, built in 1959 and priced just under $70,000. The listing mentions a sunroom, which on a house this size is not a luxury feature, it's a selling point, because it genuinely adds usable space to a footprint that doesn't have a lot to spare. It also puts you about 3 minutes from downtown Hartwell, which matters. Hart County sits on Lake Hartwell. It's not a depressed, middle-of-nowhere market. Hart County's median household income is nearly $60,000, and the poverty rate is one of the lower ones on this list at under 14%. This is not a dramatic house. It's not going to make anyone's jaw drop, but that might be exactly the point. For a first-time buyer who's tired of paying rent in a city that stopped caring about affordability, or for an investor who wants a low-drama rental in a town with a real economy, this is the kind of house you can actually underwrite without needing a miracle. Septic is noted despite public water availability, so budget for that inspection. Square footage is tight, but the bones are there, and the location actually makes sense. Not every cheap house needs to be a rescue mission. Sometimes the story is just small, affordable, honest. House number 10, Homerville, Georgia, $70,000, 96 Rose Street, 3-bed, 1-bath, 844 square feet, built 1950 on a city lot in Homerville. The listing says it's move-in ready. It talks about fresh updates. The photos probably look clean. And if you stopped reading there, you might think you found a quiet little starter home for $70,000. Keep reading. One line, buried. The HVAC system is not operational and will need repair or replacement. That's not a minor disclosure. In South Georgia, where summer temperatures regularly sit in the 90s and the humidity is a physical presence, a house with no functional heating or cooling is not move-in ready. It's move-in at your own risk. A full HVAC replacement on a house this size, depending on what's actually there and what condition the ductwork is in, can run anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000, maybe more if the system has been sitting long enough to cause secondary problems. Clinch County's median household income is under $46,000, and the poverty rate is 22%. This is not a high-demand rental market where you can absorb a big rehab hit and make it back on premium rents. The listing is not lying to you, it just made sure the bad news was small. Cash buyer or buyer with a repair budget who goes in clear-eyed, there may be something here. Everyone else, know what you're buying before you close. You've seen the co-op deal that hides a monthly bill inside a bargain price, a sunroom that earns its keep, and a house that smiles for photos with a broken HVAC. We're 9 houses in. The ones coming up are where the numbers start doing things that make no sense until you understand exactly why they do. Stay with me.
House number 9, Camilla, Georgia, $69,900. When a listing calls a house a solid shell with a clean slate, that is real estate language for the outside is still standing and we would like you to bring your imagination to the inside. Brick exterior, 1984 construction. That is actually meaningful when you're in this price range, because 1984 means you are probably not dealing with the same structural and mechanical unknowns you get in a 1920 farmhouse. Brick means the exterior envelope is relatively low maintenance. Crawl space foundation means it is accessible for plumbing and structural inspection. These are not small things when you're buying cheap. The listing is honest that this needs an interior refresh, cash or conventional only, which means they are not expecting FHA buyers to walk through the door, and you should ask yourself why. Mitchell County is a mixed picture. Median household income is over $57,000, but the poverty rate is 23%. That gap tells you the market is uneven. There is income here, but it is not evenly distributed, and that affects rental demand. For a straightforward investor who wants a simple story, brick, newer vintage, clear scope of work, this is one of the more honest listings on the list. It's not hiding behind charm, it's just a shell that needs work, and it told you so up front. House number 8, Summerville, Georgia, $65,000. Here's a house that might be worth more dead than alive. Not literally, but when a listing mentions that the property has a newer roof, city sewer access, and potential as a future new construction site in the same breath that it tells you it was a rental that needs work, they are handing you an exit strategy in writing. The current structure is a 1949 fixer, cash only, no heat, no cooling, on about 4/10 of an acre in Summerville, which sits in Chattooga County in northwest Georgia near the Alabama line. The lot is the conversation. 4/10 of an acre with city sewer already connected is not nothing. If the house becomes more trouble than it is worth, the land has a life after demolition. The listing is already pointing at that path. New construction site is not standard language. Somebody wanted an investor to see this as more than one option. The existing structure, if sound enough, also works as a rental play or a straightforward rehab, depending on what the bones look like on inspection. It's $65,000. You are not paying a land premium, you are getting optionality. The question is whether the current structure earns the rehab money or whether you skip straight to what comes next. Either way, this is a property where you are not locked into one decision on day one. That is worth something. House number 7, Sandersville, Georgia, $60,800. Stop. Before we talk about this house, we need to talk about what Zillow says about this house. According to the listing data, this property is 94 square feet. 94. To be clear, that is smaller than most walk-in closets. That is not a bedroom. That is a generous storage unit. That is a bathroom in a nice hotel. The rest of the listing describes a 2-bedroom ranch with a front porch, a screened porch, hardwood floors, and a normal house layout. So either Zillow has a catastrophic data entry error here, or someone is selling a very expensive closet on a third of an acre in Washington County. The listing also tells you the property is tenant-occupied and sold as is, which means you cannot just walk through it. You are buying whatever is actually inside that building with a current human being living in it and a data sheet that can't even tell you how big it is. Washington County has a 25% poverty rate. That is one of the highest numbers on this list. The local rental market is going to reflect that. This is a great reminder that the number on the listing is not the whole story. Sometimes the listing itself is not the whole story. You verify the square footage, you verify the tenant situation, you verify the title, you verify everything before you write one check. You just watched a house with a 94 square foot listing get halfway through the countdown. Here's a promise, it's not the strangest number you're going to see today. The next 5 have a bungalow with a century of history, 2 properties where the land changes the entire math, and a closer that should probably not be legal to list at that price. Don't leave.
House number 6, Eastman, Georgia, $65,000. 2,400 square feet. $65,000. Let that land. That is $27 per square foot. In a world where new construction regularly runs $200 a square foot or more, this house is either a complete disaster inside or the kind of deal that makes an experienced investor put down their coffee. The listing is not pretending this is a finished product. It acknowledges it needs TLC, but then it does something unusual. It starts pitching specific use cases: veterans housing, group home, transitional housing, expanding the layout for more bedrooms. When a listing starts naming institutional use cases, that tells you 2 things. 1, the seller understands this is not a standard single-family buyer purchase. 2, the square footage is the asset, not the finishes. Dodge County sits in Middle Georgia, median household income around $51,000. Poverty rate at 18%. This is not a luxury market, but 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms in a livable configuration can absolutely produce rental income in a market like this if the structure holds up on inspection. The question you need to answer before you get excited: what does the inside actually look like, and how far down does the TLC go? Cosmetic work is money. Structural work is a different conversation entirely. If you have a use case for large square footage at small price, this house has a reason to exist on your list. House number 5, Dublin, Georgia, $49,900. This one sells you a feeling before it sells you a house. A short walk to downtown Dublin, spacious foyer, high ceilings, built in 1910. The listing is doing everything right emotionally. It knows that for a certain kind of buyer, those words paint a picture that is worth more than the numbers. Here is what the listing is not telling you. There is no square footage listed, no heating system, no cooling system. Sold as is, built in 1910, which means you are looking at over 100 years of deferred maintenance possibilities hidden under whatever the current presentation shows. That spacious foyer and those high ceilings, set inside walls that have been standing through 2 world wars, the Great Depression, and several decades of Georgia's summers. Dublin is a real town. Lawrence County median income is over $55,000. Downtown Dublin is walkable and has commercial activity. The location argument is legitimate, but no square footage listed on a house from 1910 means either the data was never entered or somebody made a choice not to enter it. Neither of those answers is reassuring. And no HVAC in a house this age is a line item that does not have a simple answer. This is a dream language listing. It is selling the after photo. Your job is to underwrite the before. House number 4, Tifton, Georgia, $50,000. Sometimes the best version of a cheap house is a small house with a long story that you can actually finish. This is an 874 square foot bungalow built in 1925 on a modest lot in Tifton. The listing talks about natural light, front porch, backyard potential.
The language is not trying to oversell the scale, it is leaning into the character, which is the right call when the footprint is this tight. Tift County's median household income is over $53,000. Tifton has a real economy, anchored partly by agriculture and partly by its position on I-75. You are not in the middle of nowhere here. You are in a working small city with a highway that actually connects you to things. At $50,000, the bungalow is not a screaming value on raw numbers, but it is the house on this list most likely to look expensive after the right renovation. The bones, a porch, natural light, century-old character, are the kind of things people pay premiums for when the work is done right. The question is whether the rehab cost leaves room between what you spend and what you could sell for or rent at. This is a patient buyer's house, not a quick flip, not a grand slam investment, a careful project that could punch above its weight class when it's done. 4 houses left. We're past the flippers, past the data errors, past the HVAC surprises. What's coming next is land. Then a dream project that is going to make you do math you're not supposed to do. And then a price that is going to make you say it out loud. Keep watching.
House number 3, Bowdon, Georgia, $70,000. This is the moment the list stops being about cheap houses and starts being about cheap land with a house attached. 1.54 acres in Carroll County, Georgia, which is one of the stronger county income markets on this list, with a median household income near $72,000 and a poverty rate under 15%. Carroll County sits about an hour west of Atlanta. People commute from here. The market is real. The house itself is a 1912 farmhouse, 3 beds, 1 bath, 1,100 square feet. The listing calls it a handyman special and does not hide the ball. Cash only, sold as is, no cooling. And it talks about outbuildings, workshop space, and views in language that is specifically designed to appeal to someone who has been watching too many homestead videos at 11 o'clock at night. Here is the legitimate point though. $70,000 for 1.54 acres in a county this close to Atlanta is a real number. The house needs work. Real work, but you are not paying $70,000 for the house. You are paying $70,000 for the land with a structure on it that gives you a place to stand while you figure out what you actually want to do. Experienced rehabber, rural fixer-buyer, someone who wants space and is willing to earn it. This is the one that starts making sense. House number 2, Reynolds, Georgia, $50,000. This is the one people are going to fall in love with, and that is exactly why you need to be careful with it. Almost 2,000 square feet, built in 1900, metal roof, front porch, brick fireplaces, masonry foundation, 1 full acre, $50,000. On paper, this looks like the best deal on the list, and in some ways it genuinely might be. The footprint is enormous for the price. The metal roof means someone spent real money at some point on something that actually matters. Brick fireplaces in a house this old are not just decorative, they are structural character that cost real money to replicate. The front porch is everything people are chasing when they look at houses like this. Now, here's what the listing also tells you. The property is occupied. Showings are by appointment only. That means there is a human being living in this house right now, which means you cannot just drive by and look in the windows, and it means the transaction has moving pieces that a vacant property does not. Taylor County has a median household income under $42,000 and a 25% poverty rate. That is the weakest local income context on the entire list. If you are buying it as a rental hold, you need to understand the market you are holding it in. But if you are buying it as a project, as a home, as a long-term land and structure play, this is the house that earns the feeling it is selling. It has the bones, the acreage, and the old house character that you simply do not find for $50,000 very often. Go in with eyes open, verify everything, get access before you fall too far in love. House number 1, Waynesboro, Georgia, $18,500. $18,500. That is not a typo. That is not a partial payment.
That is the full asking price for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,700 square foot house on nearly half an acre in Waynesboro, Georgia. And the second you start doing the math in your head, which you are already doing, I need you to stop and read the part of the listing that explains exactly why this number exists. Quiet title action required after closing. If you don't know what that means, here's the short version. A quiet title action is a legal process where you go to court to establish that you, and you only, have clear, uncontested ownership of a property. It means that as of right now, this title is not clean. There may be old liens, unresolved estate claims, missing heirs, or other historical clouds on the ownership history that have never been legally resolved. The house is being sold knowing that the buyer will need to spend money and time in the court system to actually solidify their ownership position after the deal closes. That is not a minor footnote. That is a whole separate project that runs parallel to whatever physical work the house itself requires. And this is a full fixer, not a cosmetic refresh, a full gut situation in a county where the poverty rate is over 24% and the median household income is just over $53,000. Burke County is not a disaster market. Waynesboro is a real small city 30 minutes from Augusta. The house at 1,700 square feet has legitimate potential as a rental, as a starter rehab, as a long-term hold if you get through the legal process and have another $30,000 to $40,000 of rehab budget behind the purchase price. But you need to go in knowing that this is not a simple story. The price is $18,500 for a reason. 2 reasons actually, the title and the condition. For an experienced cash investor who understands quiet title work and wants a cheap entry point into a real structure on real land, this is the kind of thing you put on the list. For anyone who clicked on $18,500 expecting a miracle, now you know what you are actually buying. The math can still work. Just make sure it's your math, not the headline's math. 12 houses, 12 different reasons the price is what it is. And that's the thing nobody tells you about cheap real estate. The deal is never just the number. The deal is the number plus the title situation, the county income, the HVAC, the occupancy, the square footage that may or may not actually exist, and every single piece of fine print the listing is counting on you to skip. If you want to find more of these, the real ones, not just the headlines, there's a lot more where this came from. We'll see you at the next one.